Hi guys, this is Klazart with the audio commentary, and this time I'm commentating on the MSL semi-finals Group B matchup between Iris and Kwanro. We've got Kwanro starting up in red at the bottom left and Iris in teal at the bottom right at the 5 and 7 o'clock positions. Before I jump into this commentary, I just wanted to read out a YouTube PM that I got to you guys very quickly. This is from Barinho, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, B-A-E-R-I-N-H-O, and he said, I think the difference is that we don't keep score in StarCraft within one game. You can't come back in basketball being 35 down in the fourth quarter if the teams have slightly the same skill. I think the same goes for StarCraft. Reaver drop successful 1-0. Expanding after this safely 2-0. Now suddenly the other player gets 3 vultures into your main and manages to kill off probes. 2-1 only now. I think it kinda works the same, we just don't keep score. P.S. The big difference is, though, in StarCraft, one action changes the next action, so if you get ahead, it strengthens you for the remainder of the game, which eventually leads to a clear outcome where one player can't come back anymore. I'll be jumping back to that later on, guys, but going to focus on this commentary for now. As I said, we've got Kwanro at the 7 o'clock position in red and Iris in teal, and both of these guys are teammates, so this is actually going to be a little bit tense for these two players. It's going to be a little bit bittersweet because the teammates are actually quite close in the StarCraft competitive teams. Not only do they play in the Pro League together, but they also practice together, they live in the same house. It's a huge deal. I would say these guys are probably as close as teammates get in any sport, if not closer. But obviously StarCraft is an individual game, so they are used to competing against each other, and obviously both are going to be utterly ruthless and going to do whatever it takes to win. Iris starting up his racks. Looks like just a standard racks from Iris. We might be seeing a 12 pool here from Kwanro. This is Byzantium 3, by the way. A map with a slight favor for Terran players. Kwanro has scouted correctly with his overlord to begin with. This map does favor Terran players slightly. I believe it's a 60%, a slight over 60%. Let me just check that really quickly. The win ratio is 62%, 62.5% for Terran versus Zerg, although I'm not sure if that includes this game or not. But that's reasonably significant, though not insurmountable. A good player can still win. Both these players also have a reputation for being extremely aggressive. Iris, though, has impressed me a lot recently, especially in that victory versus Bisu. And who would have predicted this semifinals? And it looks like we are seeing a 3-hatch, and I don't even know if Kwanro has put that spawning pool down yet. He hasn't, so we're seeing a triple hatch build from Kwanro. That's fantastic. That's also aggression. That's the kind of thing we would have expected from Savior in his day, but unfortunately for Kwanro, Iris is going to scout this straight away. But Kwanro should still be in a decent position to defend against this, against any pressure that Iris can put on him. Iris now looks like he's actually building his, I think he's building his factory. He stopped mining gas, so Iris might be looking to expand as well, which is going to be perfect for Kwanro, because normally, even when a Zerg player goes for a 12 hatch, they either put their spawning pool down they usually put their spawning pool down right after the second hatchery and not before the third hatchery, and that can be somewhat nullified by a Terran player fast expanding. However, when a Zerg player goes 3 hatch in the way that Kwanro has, putting the third hatchery down before the spawning pool, then that changes things a little bit and can give them a good economic advantage. And yeah, Kwanro, they're just showing us, the observer just showing us that Iris is still not mining any gas. He's putting that factory down. Kwanro, the key for him is obviously going to be putting a couple of Sunkens down and not getting hit by that first vulture. If he gets hit by that first vulture and takes a hit to his economy, then he's going to really struggle. But he's now got that spawning pool up. He's going to have some Zerglings popping out. And I think when you go for a build like this, it's imperative that you do expend the larvae on those 6 Zerglings. Iris now taking his natural expo. Again, Kwanro, remember, did have his overlord over there, so he should be aware of what Iris is doing. He should be aware that the factory is probably down, and he should be aware of the possibility of vultures heading towards him. This is a 1-fac into CC expansion. Yeah, Kwanro putting that creep column down. So I would say that Kwanro with a decent position, starting position in this game. And I'm just gonna take a quick second to just say thank you to Arkashan, A-R-K-A-S-C-H-A-N. Big shout out to him. And that vulture now heading out from Iris again. Kwanro has that sunken down, so he should be able to block that vulture from doing any damage. Iris is just trying to draw those Zerglings away from with his SCV. Yeah, that vulture is not really going to be able to do too much damage to Kwanro's economy. He's only produced the 2 lings, mind you, but that vulture is not, that 1 sunken should be enough to hold that vulture off. So he should be in a decent position here, and should have a fairly strong economy, which will allow him to transition to that very aggressive type of game that he enjoys playing. And I believe this 3 hatchery opening is a very strong opening on 4-player maps for Zerg versus Terran. We saw Savior revolutionize that. It kind of died out after Bisu came up with his counter to it and wreaked havoc among Zerg players, and then obviously we've had Terran players coming out with the fantasy build and the mech build that has become so popular recently and does well against Zerg players. Looks like Iris actually putting that academy down now. and Iris's SCV being cleaned out in Kwanro's base as well. Meanwhile, Kwanro's got that hardless den down as well, interestingly enough. Even normally when you go for that 3 hatchery build, you'd expect the Zerg player to put that Spire down and use that to control the air and harass the opponent's economy while you go and get that next expansion, get that next gas going. It's vital to have some sort of thing to control the map. Kwanro, however, has opted to get a couple of hardless down, so it'll be interesting to see if he goes for some sort of a mid-game push here with perhaps Lurker Lings or something like that against Iris, because I still don't see a Spire going down for Kwanro, so he might be hoping to catch Iris off guard and defeat him. And I'm not sure how effective this choiceless tactic will be for Kwanro, because Iris has got his first medic and marine group out. He's just got a couple of medics popping out. He has put that academy down as well, and so he's gonna have he's going for that medic and marine build, now putting that engineering bay down as well. And I'm not sure how effective hardless are against that build. Although this is just if he'd gone for the Spire, it would just be the standard 3 hatch build with the mutilist delay your opponent while you teched up and transitioned into defilers. Whereas with hardless, you don't really transition as directly, I don't think. And he is building a lot of hardless, and that scan is going to spot at least a couple of them from Iris. So Kwanro is not going to have that element of surprise anymore on his side, now putting that evolution chamber down. But he's not going to have the element of surprise anymore on his side. He's got those hardless. They aren't speed upgraded yet, as of yet. And Iris immediately pulling back with his medic and marine group. He's now got the 3rd barracks going. And I think medic and marines are fairly effective against just hardless on their own. You really need a couple of lurkers in the mix to really deal with those medic and marines. But Kwanro just sending a couple of hardless out to deal with those vultures. And really, I have to say, it's an interesting choice of strategy by Kwanro. I'm not sure why he went for it. Perhaps he was anticipating a mech build from Iris. Now Iris coming in with the medic and groups as well as the vultures. And he's going to go head-on against these hardless. He actually was caught by surprise. I think he thought that Kwanro just built a couple of hardless just to counter the vultures, as opposed to a primarily hardless force, a force entirely of hardless. And Iris actually, even though he scanned Kwanro's base, didn't actually spot that. He's now